Hello everyone, welcome to my Live with Linda. In this episode, we are going to learn how to make a money holder and a gift card holder because the seasonal holidays are upon us, and those are one of the easiest gifts we can give is money or a gift card. So we're going to get right in and go ahead and get started on this. So let me first just say that there will be a blog post later up on my blog, and that's where you go to print off this project sheet. So we are going to begin with this 'Tis the Season gift card holder. That'll be our first thing. So here is a close-up of that. Here's what it looks like. Hello, Leah. She's watching. Yay. It has a belly band that comes off of it like this. You take the belly band off, that way the belly band stays intact, but you can open this up, and here is where you would place your gift card. Okay. So we're gonna go ahead and put that back on. And this is made with the Wishes and Wonders stamp set that is in our holiday mini right now, and it's part of the 'Tis the Season suite. So that's what we're going to be using today. All right, we will start. Bring all my pieces over here. Okay, so we're going to begin. Our base cardstock it's a shaded spruce, and it is 5 by 7 3/4. Okay, and remember, all the measurements are going to be on that project sheet that's on my blog. And the first thing I'm going to do is score this. So I'm going to bring in my trimmer here, and I need to score at 2 1/2. And then I'm going to score at 6. Okay, pull that out. And then I'm going to come in and just fold those over. Make sure you get a really good crease with them. Okay. It's always a relief to see that you actually scored things right and everything meets up the way it should. Next, we are going to put our DSP on there. This is all from the 'Tis the Season DSP pack. I'm just going to take and center that on. I chose 2 different DSPs. You could do the same or you could do different. It's all up to you. All right, let's just center that in there. I love this print. I don't know why this print makes me happy, but it does. Okay, and then the next thing we're going to do, if you'll notice in here, it's kind of hard to see. Let me put this behind it so that you can see. There is a little cutout so that you can grab the card easier. Okay, so I'm going to use a 1-inch hole punch to do that. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to find the middle of my holder here. So I'm just going to go up here at the top of my grid paper. You guys can't see that. I'll slide it down a little bit. So at the top of the grid paper, you have inches on one end, you have centimeters on the other end. Anyway, I'm just going to line this up. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 centimeters, or excuse me, inches. So 2 1/2 is going to be my midpoint. So 1, 2 1/2. So I'm just going to make a little mark right there. Okay. And then I'm going to take this and flip it around. What I'm going to do is I'm going to slide my punch in, and I'm just putting my cardstock about halfway down, and I'm just making sure that that little mark that I made is in pretty much the center of my circle. And then I'll just punch it out, and that creates my little punch there. And then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to use our tear and tape, and we're going to put this down make sure we tear that. This is what's going to hold it down. So I would recommend using tear and tape just because if you use something less sticky, it will probably not stick after a while. It won't hold it, especially when the gift card is being pulled in and out. All right, let's just take and pull off that. And pull off this side. I just cut my nails yesterday. That's not a great thing to do. You have to pick stuff up. All right, I'm going to take and just push that down and push on those ends so that it makes it, okay. So then that is the base of our gift card holder. Really easy. You can whip a bunch of these out. The next thing we're going to do is we've got to do our belly band. So this is the way we do this. I take my belly band, and it's kind of hard because I'm not far enough away, but I'm going to take my belly band and I just lay it across, I kind of just center it across my whole card holder, okay? And then I'm going to flip it over like this. I'll do it like this, you can see. And in fact, it's if you use the lines on your grid paper, it will show you that everything is straight. Okay, that's another reason to have grid paper. So then I'm literally going to take this and fold it over and just crease it right there. And then fold this end over and crease it on that side. I find that's the easiest way to do belly bands because everything is always slight. When you measure things, everything is always slightly different from one person to the next. And if you do measurements on a belly band, it sometimes doesn't. It's either too tight sometimes or too loose. So I find that this is the best way to do it, and it will still allow you to take it on and off. All right, so now I'm going to open it up, and I have to do some more sticky strip with this. All right, there we go. So I'm going to put a piece on this end, on the bottom, and then I'm going to put one on the top here so that both the sticky strips are on this, you can see them together, right? And just put that on and pull this off. I really should not have cut my nails. Oh my goodness, I may have to go get my pick tool. There we go. At least I thought I had it. Oh my gosh. Okay, there we go. Okay, and then we'll get up here. Pull this end off. The great thing about this gift card holder is it will also, oh my gosh, I'm having struggles. Let me just grab my tool, my pick tool. The great thing about this gift card holder is it will fit in a regular envelope. So you could make these up and put your gift cards in them and then mail them to the people that you want to give them to. All right, so just making sure that my edges are lined up on each side like that. There we go. Now we need to do our decorating and our stamping. So I am going to start by taking my deer and I'm going to stamp him in Memento ink because I'm going to be coloring him with the Stampin' blends. So when we use Stampin' blends, we want to use this Memento ink because it won't react and make the Stampin' blends ink bleed, which is important. Okay. All right, and today I'm using the soft suede Stampin' blends. I have the light and the dark. I always like to begin with the light. And since he's small enough, I'm going to just use the bullet end to color him in. Take a few seconds and get through this. So stamps like this I really like when they do the shading on the stamp for you. So I'll show you in a minute how we're going to use that to know where we should do our shadowing, because sometimes it's really hard to decide how you should do that, right? So I like it when they do that to help us out. All right, almost done here. I'm really not a deer person, but I kind of think this guy is cute. Okay, so there he, oh, we got to do his antler really quickly. Okay, so there he is colored in. Now I'm going to take the dark one, and if you'll notice on here, there's like parts where they just have kind of the crisscross and it's kind of the darkness of the shading. So I'm just going to take and color in those spots with my darker. So now they don't look black as much as they look a dark brown. Okay. And then come over here, and he's in the, I'm just going to do some along here. Okay. And then I'm going to take my light and I'm going to come back in, and I'm just going to go over it again to kind of blend the inks together a little bit, especially in his beard area right here. Okay, so on the places where I had the shading already, I'm not going to go over those again. I'm going to leave them. But anyway, okay, so we're done coloring him. So there is a framelit that cuts him out. I'm going to put him on here, line him up, and use a piece of washi tape to keep it where I want it to be. Okay. And I'm not going to put the Big Shot. I'm just going to run it through the Big Shot over here on the side of my desk. All right. So pull that off. Oh my gosh, I didn't do a very good job cutting him out. It slid. That's not cool. Anyway, we're still going to go with it because it's not terrible. That's the one thing that I don't like, is that we don't have the magnetic plates for this new Big Shot, and so things can slide easier. Okay, the other stamping we have to do is I have this piece of paper and in shaded spruce. I'm going to stamp the words special delivery. Okay. And then in the same set of in the same set, you have this little starburst type circle, and then you have just a regular circle. They come together and they're designed to layer. So let's see here. Bring this back in, and this special delivery fits perfectly inside this circle, okay? It's just the right length. So I am going to take and just put that there. And then this, I just need to cut it. I just need to cut a circle, so that's nice. I can just set that there, and then I need to do a couple of little leaves. These are all from the same framelit set. Sorry, I'll move that up so you can see. So just throw those on there. That doesn't matter where they're at on the thing, so I'm not going to tape them down. Okay, so I'm going to pick this up. Oh, my leaves slid. Okay. Pick this up and run it through my Big Shot really quickly. Going through. Oh, this Big Shot really is nice though. It is so smooth. Okay, pull these things. So here's my little leaves. And there they are. Get them off with, put them right here. And then my special delivery, we'll pull that off. All right, perfect. And then we have our red circle, our red starburst, so good. All right. I'm gonna simply take my special delivery and glue it onto my, this is a cherry cobbler circle, by the way. So it fits right there in the center. And then I'm going to take this and I'm going to put dimensionals on it. Okay. And before we can put everything on, if you'll notice on our band, there is this gold cord. It's kind of like baker's twine, but it's a gold cord, and it is wrapped around that. So we're going to take and wrap this. I always start with like about five inches off the thing and wrap it 3 times. So that's 1, 2, and then that makes it 3. Okay, and then I just take and cut off that much again. I measure it like that and cut off that much again so that I have enough for a bow. Okay. All right, so then I'm just going to make sure that this is the way I like it, the gold. And I like the way that kind of how it crisscrosses like that. So I'm just going to bring this over like this and tie a bow up here. And this is kind of tricky. When I tie bows with stuff like this, I always tie it into a knot first so that it holds tight. And then I go back and make my bows pieces. That way you don't get a bow that slips. And then you just kind of play with it until your bow looks the way you want it to. All right, and I'm going to spread these out just a little bit up here. Okay. All right, so I'll take and snip this bow so it's a little bit shorter. Okay. Now we can take our circle and put that on. So just put it right there. We do need to have dimensionals for our little guy here. And I'm using mini dimensionals on him because he's so tiny. It allows you to put him down his legs easier. Okay. So take and put, there we go. He's gonna sit just right here, kind of in front of the special delivery, okay? And then we have these little leaves, and they're kind of hard to pick up. Let's see here. Okay, so we have these little leaves that we cut out, right? And I don't want this like little end piece, so I'm just kind of ripping that off because it kind of gets in the way like that. So I'm just doing that. And then I am using glue dots to put these into my thing, because I find they're the easiest. When you're dealing with delicate stuff like this, you don't want it to rip, so a glue dot makes it easy because you can just take it and go like that. And then that way I can just take it and lift up my tag a little bit. You kind of slide it in there and push down and it grabs it. So let's do that with this one. Oh, there's one on my finger. I must have touched it. There we go. Oh, I put it on the wrong side, you guys. Okay, I was putting the glue dot on the side that is the right side up because that's what's going to stick to the special delivery. So now it's going to have two. All right, there we go. And I'm just going to take and lift up my ends of this and just kind of shove that in and push down. There we go. And that creates my little thing. So hopefully, oh, and we have to do one last thing I just realized. You always have to put the bling on at the end, right? So I am using, where did they go? The Holiday Rhinestones. These are a set of rhinestones that we have that have 5 different colors. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5 different colors in it of rhinestone. I really like these. And they're pretty versatile with what you can use them with, because the cool thing about them is you can put them with a few different colors and they'll kind of take on that color. So in this case, these are shaded spruce, so I'm going to use 3 of them, a big one. So I'm going to do one right there, and then a smaller one. Oh, put it right there next to it, push down, and then I'll use one, and I'm going to put this one over here on the special delivery. Okay, and then voila, you have 2 card holders that you can do. All right, let me quickly clean up the area here, and we will move on to our second project, which is, this one's my favorite. Probably because of these are my colors of red and green. You know, there's all shades of red, all shades of green. These are mine that I love. So this is a money holder, okay? It opens up like this, and you can put a check in it, you can put cash in it, whatever you want, okay? So it fits a dollar bill perfectly. All right, so this is what we're gonna be making. And it's gonna sit right there for me. Okay, we begin by, with our paper here. Okay, this one is 8.5 by 7. So it's kind of, it's a rectangle, but it's close. So 8.5 by 7 is our measurements. And on the 7 side is the side, or let me see here. No, on the 8.5 side, is it 8.5? That's the 8.5, so let me make sure. Yeah, on the 8.5 side is the side you're going to score on. Okay, so let's see, we need to score at 3, and we need to score at 6. Okay, that's it, 3 and 6. And then we're gonna take and fold these, burnish it down. I'm gonna open that up and pull this at this end. Crease that really well, okay? And just like the other one, we're gonna take some DSP and we're gonna glue this on. So this piece is 2 1/4 by 6 3/4. Okay. This paper, by the way, is from the Heartwarming Hugs DSP. Okay. So I'm gonna do it like this. So you can just make sure that that is even. Okay, and then we're gonna rotate it like this and put our other piece on. This piece is 2 3/4 by 6 3/4. Okay, take and center that piece on our cardstock as well. Okay, then we're going to flip it over, and once again, remember how on the other one we had to use the punch to create our little hole? We're going to do the same thing here, only this time instead of a circle I wanted to be creative. So I'm using the Taylor tag punch, okay? So once again, I'm going to find the center of my card, and it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, 7. So it's going to be 3 1/2. 1, 2, 3, and there's my half right there. So just make a little mark. You guys can't see that. See, I made a little mark right there. And now I'm going to take this, and once again, I'm just going to take that punch and I'm going halfway in and making sure that mark is kind of lined up with the center, and I'm punching. Okay, and that just creates kind of a fun little divot to pull out your money from. And once again, this is very similar to the card one. We're going to take our tear and tape and lay it on our ends here. Like this. Okay. Take it and crease that. All right, so there we go. Now we have to decorate the outside of our money holder. The first thing we need to do is put on some ribbon. So I have this ribbon that is Mossy Meadow. The interesting thing is there are actually two sides to this ribbon. So this side, you see more green, right? It's green and white stripe, but you see more green. And then if you flip it, on this side, the white is bigger, so you see more white. And so I'm doing it so that the white side is showing. And I'm going to use some of my tear and tape and just put a little bit here in the center of my ribbon so that when I put it on my card, the ribbon doesn't slide around. And then I'm putting some here on this end. And I'm putting some here on this end. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to take that center one, just press it down, make sure it's on there good. And use my pick tool to kind of pull this up. It's always a little tricky. There we go. I got it started. Okay. Pull that off. And I'm going to take this and put it so it goes around the back side of this. So I'm flipping that over and I'm just kind of lay this down about 1 inch from here. Okay, and just make sure that that is straight. Okay, and then we're going to bring it around like this. And I'm going to take and peel off this end. Come on. I always hope that will come off easier than it does. Okay, so I'm going to take and I'm just going to pull this straight. And the cool thing about this this paper is you can use the pattern to help make sure you're going straight, because the pattern is straight on the paper. Let's see if we can get this started. Yes, there we go. Okay, and then I'm just going to take and pull this down tight, make sure it's tight, and overlap it on top of the ribbon that's already there. Okay. Just move that. Okay, good. Now that we have that done, we are going to do our trees. These trees come from the Tree Angle stamp set. When I saw this stamp set in the catalog, I fell in love with it for some reason. I don't know. I just thought it was really fun. And it coordinates with the the stitched triangles that we have in the annual catalog. So that's what you use to cut out the trees. However, the trick I found is this. I found that since these are clear stamps, it's easier to cut your tree out first and then stamp on it, as opposed to stamping and then cutting, which is not what we normally do. Normally we stamp and then cut. But I found that easier. It was kind of that way my angles weren't off on it. So we'll start with the Mossy Meadow. Put that out of the way for a minute. Ink up our Mossy Meadow. And put that right here. Yeah, and like I said, since this is clear, you can totally just line that up over it and pull it off. Okay. Next, we're gonna do real red. Okay. All right, let's line up our real red triangle. Stamp it off. All right, so that one is like a little off. So I'm going to flip it over and try again. All right, I think that was better this time. There we go. That's much better this time. And then our last one is Pear Pizzazz. Okay. And this one, get all the tree stars in it. Okay, so with this one, because you're putting this against a Pear Pizzazz background, I did some sponging around this tree just to help it stick out a little bit so that it didn't blend in so much. So I'm going to just take my sponge here and just sponge the edge of my triangle so that it is all good to go. All right, and then the last thing we're going to stamp is our stem. Okay, so the stem in this is really tiny, but the cool thing about it is you can build it as tall as you need to because they designed the pattern. So I'm stamping it once, okay, and then I can just take it and the lines, actually I think you have to flip it. Yeah, so what you do is you turn it around 180 degrees and you can line the lines up and stamp again. That wasn't a very good job. We'll try this again. This is so hard when you're on camera because it's not right in front of you. Anyway, just go a little bit closer than I think. Okay, and you can make the stem as tall or as short as you need. All right, so now I'm going to take my scissors and cut these out. Yes, they are seriously tiny. Easy to get lost. All right. This one I stamped too, just to make it a little bit of a longer stem. Okay. Slide all of that out of the way. I'm putting dimensionals, I'm putting mini dimensionals on the back of my stems here. On that one just to make it pop. Okay. And then we're going to line them up on our card. This also, these guys need dimensionals on the back too. So I'm putting 2 dimensionals on, actually I'm doing 3. So I'm going to do 2 big dimensionals on the big red tree. And I'm going to do 1 little tiny one at the very top to hold that down. Okay, so that's how I did those. And then on this one, let me think about this for just a second. If this tree is like this. Okay, so I'm only going to put dimensionals along the one side because the trees tuck underneath the red tree and I don't want my dimensionals getting in the way. Okay, so I did that on that side, and then on this other one that's the darker green, same thing. I don't want my dimensionals on this side, so I'm only going to put them on the one side as I go down the tree so that I can tuck my tree. Okay. All right, I'm going to start with my big red tree first. Come on. All right, here we go. And remember how over here we have our seam? That's going to be covered up by our trees. So there's my big tree, my red tree, and then my Pear Pizzazz tree. I'm going to take my dimensionals off, and it goes on this side. You tuck the back side under, and it is down a little bit. Okay, because remember, this is the one that's getting the small, short tree stump, which I just lost. I'm sure it's... And then we'll put the green one on this side. And this one is a little bit higher because it has a higher tree stump, and it's the one that's covering our... Oh, there's the tree stump right there on my finger. Kind of looks like a bad wart or something. Anyway, I don't know why I just said that. Okay, I'm going to take this tree stump and I'm going to put it underneath here like that. And I'm going to take this one and I'm doing it on this side. And kind of tuck it under just a little bit. Okay, so there's our 3 trees. And now we need to take, I have a piece of Whisper White here that is a 1/2 inch by, I believe it's 3.5 inches, 1/2 inch by 3.5 inches. And the saying that I'm going to use is actually it says happy wishes to you and yours, but I didn't want the and yours part. So I'm taking my ink pad, okay, and I'm looking at my, because this is a clear stamp. You can do this with clear stamps. I'm looking to the point that I want it. So it's at the end of you, and I'm just taking and setting up to you on the ink pad, okay? I'm not touching the and. I'm just gonna make sure there's nothing on that. I'm not touching the and, I'm not touching any other word. I'm just touching the to you. Okay, now I'm just going to take this and I'm going to look at my paper and center it and stamp. Let's see how we did. Pull that off. That's pretty good. Okay. Then I need to take my scissors and I need to flag the one end. I cut it down a little bit first and then take and flag it. I could use my cool punch from last week that we have that flags things, but I'm just going to quickly do it this way. And then I leave a little bit. This part is going to be what tucks in underneath the tree. Okay. All right. And then I'm going to put a dimensional on the one end that is flagged. And on the other end, I'm going to put just some adhesive so that it sticks. Let me get that. Just a little bit, okay? Pull that off. And then I'm just going to take and slide this in and layer that on there. Okay, there we go. And now we get to do our embellishing. Our favorite part, my favorite part, is the embellishing. Okay, so I am using the wonderful gems that came in this suite. And like, honestly, I love these, okay? These are all I have left of my whole package. That is how much I have used them. So I'm gonna take them, they have red and they have gold. I'm gonna use the gold on the red Christmas tree and just start layering them wherever, mixing up the big and the small. It's always good to do odd numbers. That looks better. And I'll take this, and on the green one, I'm just gonna do big ones, 3 big ones. So 1. I just love how these sparkle, and they're so easy to use. 2. And if I'd actually find my actual pick tool, I could use it to show you guys. I'll have to find it. Okay, so I don't know if you can see that in the camera, but the light makes those sparkle and they're just so pretty. And then last but not least, we're going to use this gold cord again. And I'm just going to take and tie a bow. Do you remember last week I had such a hard time tying a bow? See, this stuff is easy to tie a bow with. So just tie my bow, cut it off, trim that up, trim it up. Oh, this is the silly thing about bows. Okay. And then I'm going to use a glue dot to put this on, so I like to do that. And then pick it up like that. And kind of just, I like to kind of fold that glue dot down around it to kind of smush it so it's not sticking out from behind that knot. And then just put it here at the bottom of that. And voila, you have 2 money holders. Okay, so that's all I have for you today. Hopefully you will enjoy making those. Just note that you could decorate the front of the money holders different than I did. But I want to thank all of you for stopping by to watch. And just a reminder, in a couple hours, these will be up on my blog with the project sheet that you can download. So thank you for stopping by and have a great day. We'll